Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shishi Radha Gokulananda ki, Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishi Gaurnitai ki.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Jaya Girvardhari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Girvardhari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Jayo Radha Gokul Nand, Radha Gokul Nand Radhe. Jayo Radha Gokul Nand, Radha Gokul Nand Radhe. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Gaura Nitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming today on this Thursday evening, actually, to Bhaktivedanta Manor, the home of Lord Krishna. We welcome you all here. Take out your precious time. Today, we'll be doing a small talk on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. We're talking from chapter 12, verse number 17. So I'm not sure what number it is in the small book. Chapter.
Right on the top it'll say devotional, so it's carry on all the way. Chapter 12 will say on the left hand side will be the chapter. And it's page number 539 on this, I don't know. Yeah, 5053.
Are there any more?
Krishna, would you like to take one Bhagavad Gita? Shall I bring one for you?
Yeah, if you like to, yeah.
Then we're starting from chapter 12.
Chapter 12.
17. So let me get you one. So whilst you're here, at least you can read out that. Sanskrit.
So we'll be talking from chapter 12. We're talking from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's written by our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which we have at the back of the temple room here. At the mature age of 70, he traveled around the world 70 times to spread the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to the Western countries and the people, especially in the West, like America, UK, and lots of countries in Europe. And now he's established more than 108 temple communities and farm communities all around the world. So if you go anywhere from like UK, where we are here, Bhaktivedanta Manor, all over England, there's many, many places all over England, centres, preaching centres, temples, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow. Then you've got far away as America, Los Angeles, New York, down to South America, you name it, any kind, Russia, lots of places in Europe, the Far East, Hong Kong, Japan, China, Fiji Islands, so everywhere, any country you can think of, there probably will be a temple there, and there will be devotees. So yeah, this is what Srila Prabhupada has done. And what he's also done is converted a lot of people to becoming better people, actually. He's given the taste of vegetarian food, vegetarianism, which is quite apt, and also, depending what country you go to, they all adopt their menus and everything. So a lot of Indian menus are there, rice and dal and puris and halwa, they're quite like that. So even in a lot of American countries and Southeast Asian countries, they're like that. And also, like the local dishes they have there is a lot of vegetarian dishes. Yeah, so that's quite good. So if anybody ever wants to go to any temple, you know, there's plenty of opportunities. And there's a whole list, I think, at the back of this book. Yeah, or just look at if you go into the internet, just put ISKCON temples worldwide. I'm sure you get a list. There's so many now in every single country, every single language. And this Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has been translated in so many languages. So, yep, no shortage of whether you speak French, German, Italian, Spanish, Russian, or whatever language. It's all available, even in Arabic now. So it's quite interesting. So today we're going to talk from chapter 12, which is entitled Devotional Service. We've come to a point in the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna is asking Krishna so many questions about the do's and don'ts and what should I do? Should I fight? Should I not fight? Should I? Because if I do fight, I'll be literally in a battle with my own cousins and my uncles, my nephews, and is it the sort of thing that I should do? And obviously he was in a dilemma. And then after asking all these questions, Krishna said, look, it's your duty to fight. You know, as you are a warrior, you should be fighting. And then he explained to him further along in chapter 2 that, look, you are not this body, but everyone is a spiritual soul. The soul actually never dies. The soul carries on. It's just the body which is of no use anymore. Just like when we drive a car, you get a brand new car out of the showroom. You drive it for so many years, you've got to regularly maintain it, service it, and after some time, it starts developing faults. And as it starts developing faults, you start spending a lot of money on it. And in a similar way, when this body is made for, if you look at it, in a way they said the body is always susceptible to pain. So there's so many ways you can give pain to this body, you know. Then you can get a little finger, you can cut it. I mean, it's bad enough when you cut it with a knife, but you know when you get a paper cut, that's even more painful. So just think of how many ways you can give pain to the body. And there's not that many ways you can give pleasure to the body apart from eating lots of prasad and ice cream and so many other things, you know. So, yeah, so that's what Krishna said to him. So, similar way, after a while, the car starts developing problems, and then we have to... then we decide, look, you know, this car's no good for me now. I'm spending a lot of money, so I should change the car. So in a similar way, the body, as we age over time, it develops so many, as we call diseases, or you have other ailments that take place. And so in a similar way, it comes to a point where we think, the soul would think, that this body is no use to me anymore because it's undergoing so much pain. I'd rather get a new body. So then that's the time that we call death that takes place, is when the soul leaves the body and acquires another body. And this is what we always say, that reading the Bhagavad Gita from a small age is very useful, if you can do, or at any stage of your life, if you can pick up and just read it. If you can't read it, just listen to it, because it's very beneficial. Because they say it's your thought process that at the time of death, whatever's in your mind, whatever you're thinking of, that will transform you over to your next body. Antakale chamame swarmukta kalevaram. So it's that at the end moment, that's why we practice from a very young age. So we're constantly chanting, we're remembering the Lord, we see the features of the Lord as he is on the altar. So we're constantly sort of surrounded by him and everything that we do, just to make us aware of our ultimate goal, which is in this, like we say, this material world. There's so many things that take place, there's so many suffering that takes place, everybody knows, and we want to free ourselves from this suffering. So what other better way to free ourselves from this suffering by chanting the Lord's holy name and reading the Bhagavad Gita. And we read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita because it's known as Bhagavad Gita as it is, because he's translated the Bhagavad Gita as it was. He hasn't added anything to it, he hasn't taken away anything from it. He's given a lot of thought process in how it should be, so he's presented it as it was. So when we say Bhagavad Gita as it is, when we give it to people, we take it to the homes, we say that this is Bhagavad Gita as it is, and that doesn't mean you leave it on the shelf as it is. Once in a while you should take it off and maybe just read it. Even if it's just like once a year on Gita Jayanti, which I think this year falls in December, around about Christmas time. So even if you can just take it then and read it, it'd be good. So now we come to the point of devotional service, which is quite important. Devotional service is the many forms that we can do devotional service. You have the pujaris on the altar that do devotional service. There's people who do cooking, cleaning. There's people who go out on book distribution. There's people who go on Harinam, chanting on the streets. It's like when we do Rath Yatra, that is a form of service. Like you want to give out the holy name to all the people. So there are all forms of devotional service. So today we're going to be talking chapter 17. Chapter 12, text number 17. Rinda, can you put this light on, the middle switch? A bit dark in there. Yeah, no, I can't see it. That's it. Yeah, that's better. So the verse goes like this. Yona harshtati na dvrashti na sochati na kanshati shubha shubha pratyagi agi bhakti mam ya same priya yona hrishti na devshti na sochati na kanshati shubha shubha pratyagi bhakti mam yena sme pri sma priya. Okay. So, translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces all auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. And purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. A pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So we say a quick prayer before we start. Okay. Om Jnana Timirindasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Sadvahutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Saha Gana Lalita Sri Vishakham Chacha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastate Taptaka Changaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishmanu State Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakal Padruvashchai Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasade Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're in chapter 12, text 17. So text 17 is very much similar to text 15 that we have. Even in text 15, if you just read the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised and happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. Now, Krishna is pointing out in these verses the sort of person who's very dear to him. When we say he's very dear to him, it means someone who's taken up devotional service, because when you take up devotional service, it's the fact that you become kind of fearless in one essence. You're not mentally disturbed by all the things that take place, all the things that go on. So because of that. And then yesterday we talked about text 16, my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains and not striving for some results is very dear to me. Now, just a little bit of background before we go into text 17. On that verse, it says, you shouldn't struggle in life. Try not to struggle in life in whatever you're doing. Maintain the balance. It's all about maintaining a balance in everything that we do. When you see the outside world, people are working 6-7 days a week. For what? What do they gain out of it? It's like a constant rat race. You're sort of chasing after something. You have no quality of life. Krishna says, there's 24 hours in a day. At least, if you can, give me at least 5 minutes of your time. You know, ideally, like what we say is that at least give an hour to yourself per day, an hour and a half if you can. It's what you call my time, sort of your own time. The reason being that in that time, it's your time, and what we say is you should be able to read some books, do some chanting. The thing is, you want to take your mind away from all the pressures of life, and how can you do that? By at least reading up some scriptural books. Because otherwise your mind is so engaged, I've got to do this tomorrow, that needs to be done tomorrow, I have to go here tomorrow, I have to do this tomorrow. So all these thoughts keep cropping in your mind, and your mind is so constantly in overdrive that you need to sort of give it a rest, and the thing is, once you start taking into devotional service, you see things will automatically start to fall in place without you knowing, because Krishna will take care of things and they fall into place without you realizing. You're just thinking, for so long I've been doing all this struggling, and now all of a sudden, it's sort of making sense. Everything's falling into place. I wonder how that's doing. So that's one aspect with you. Like if you can't come to a temple, if you have the opportunity even at home, make a little temple at home. And if you don't have the opportunity, Krishna is omnipotent. Krishna is everywhere. If you don't have deities like we have here, even if you have a picture at home, you can worship the picture, because Krishna is non-different from his picture form. He says it quite clearly. Shri Shri Radha Gokulan Bhagwan Ji ki, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because Krishna is non-different than his form that you see on the altar, or if you see on the posters behind us, or even his holy name. There's no difference in his name. His name and qualities are all the same, irrespective. When you call him with a pure heart, he will come running to you. And the reason we say we should call him, there are a few etiquettes for that. When we say every morning is the best time, Brahma Muhurta is the best time, we say that we should do our chanting if you can. Brahma Muhurta, because that's the time, the twilight hours, there's least amount of disturbance that happens. Your mind is focused on what you're doing. So the reason we say you should do chanting in the morning is because by that chanting, it cleanses you, cleanses your heart of all the impurities that we built over the years. So that's why we say you have chanting, which cleanses the heart of all its impurities, and you have chanting, then you have bathe yourself, which cleans the outside of your bodies. That's why we say you should bathe twice a day if possible, like morning and evening. And then what else would we say? We say to make a good devotee, you should read scriptures, listen to some lectures, kirtans, bhajans, if you can. Even if it's a very short 5-10 minute hearing process, is very, very important. So your mind just focuses somewhere else. You take away your focus from all these bad things that are going on, and you can focus your mind on something different. It allows you to develop your devotional service, and also you think, put it into perspective, well, why are all these things happening? You can think, well, because so many people are doing so many wrong things. Like we say, there's always an equal and opposite reaction for everything. So everything you do, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. If I was just to go out in the street and hit someone, and obviously they'll slap me back, that without a doubt. But we don't want any of these sort of things to happen. So that's why we say, you want to rise above all these qualities. And that's why the scriptures come in. And then you've got to realize, like I said earlier, this body is meant for pain. There's so many ways you can give pain to this body. Sometimes there's so many things, like when you take to a devotional service, you come to a point where you think, I want to do service irrespective of how I feel. Sometimes, even if common thing is like if you have a cold and flu, we'll still come to a temple. Sometimes you see people, even worse situations are like, even if you come to crutches to do the service, they'll come to do the service on crutches. If it's out in the reception or wanting to meet people, they come and do all sorts of service. And then we say, if you're running a business, these all qualities are sort of coming in to make a good devotee. So if you're running a business, your business that you do, yes, we encourage everyone to do business, but at the same time, when you're doing the business, whatever your profits or stuff that you make from it, just offer whatever you can to the Lord. Not that the Lord wants anything from you. He wants to see your heart. What's the generosity of your heart? Now, if your son was to come say, Mom, look, I made this today. I've got this for you. And you want to say, oh, I don't really want that. You think, oh, wow, that's really nice. I really like that. And, and you take it off him. And then you'll spoil him even more. So in a similar way, Krishna does the same thing. not that he wants, he's got everything he wants. There's no shortage of whatever he wants. But he sees our desires and what's within our heart. And then he will reciprocate in the same way. And then if you have a lot of money, if you have a lot of opulence, and if you want to do something for the Lord, the best thing they say is like, if you can, I know a lot of people are doing it, if you can, make a temple for the Lord, like constantly, the Lord, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in every town, country and village in the world, my name will be chanted. And how's that happening is because people are willing to put together so we can establish a temple. I know my Guru Maharaj, his Holiness Bhakti Chari Maharaj, in Ujjain, where Krishna went to learn from Sandeepni Muni. He built a temple there, a really lovely, beautiful temple. And it's all made out of white marble, and took him literally 9 months to make. Now, when you hear how Giriraj Maharaj, when they were making the temple in Bombay, Juhu, the struggles that obviously we will have struggles when you're doing all these things, but obviously you have to have that faith in the Lord that He'll make us overcome these. You have to have that dedication of faith that, whatever we're doing it for your pleasure, so please show us the path of what we're going to be doing. So that brings us on to our text today. So in our text today, one who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Now, quite often we come across situations and we see objects that, we divide them into categories straight away. We think, okay, I really like that, and that's how I'm attracted to something like that. Or, like, supposing, the new phone is out there, straight away you say, I really like that phone, I have to get that, and then it stays in your mind constantly, I need to upgrade my phone. This is something new, really like that. And then you get on the other option where somebody might say, you know what, I don't really like that. I don't like that particular brand of a certain thing, or I don't like that situation or that object. I just want to move away from it. It creates a sort of, like you say, a hate sort of thing. You anti something against it, like, I don't really particularly like that situation. So you move away from it. And then you have the other option where someone is like, you know what, I'm not really too bothered. I've got something and it works. Why take the extra pressure? Why put that thing on your mind that I need to do this? So the normal things that we have is attraction for something, revulsion, you either revul it, or you have a constant desire for something, or you get great joy from something, or there's grief. But to a devotee, he doesn't label anything. He doesn't put labels, that's attractive to me. I don't like that. I'm not really too bothered with that. What he does, he doesn't, or even people, he doesn't actually label them. So there's no sort of chain reaction from the like, I don't like that, because he doesn't want to overly burden himself. Why? Because the devotee wants to rise above this material platform. He wants to go into a transcendental platform. Transcendental platform is what we say is pure devotional service. Like when we say pure devotional service, is like he puts all his energies into serving the Lord. Like if he's going out shopping, he'll think, what can I buy for the Lord? What can I buy that I can cook for the Lord to please him? And if he's got a house, he'll make a nice temple room. Then he say, right, this is the Lord's house. I have to maintain it nice and clean. Because like they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. So if I keep the house clean, the Lord will automatically be pleased with me. So that's your sort of stepping stone into devotional service. Cleanliness is a very essential part of devotional service. And that's what the devotee wants. He just wants to serve the Lord, wants to please the Lord. So the devotee, he just wants to serve the spiritual masters, like we like to serve our spiritual masters. And in a similar way, our spiritual masters wanted to serve Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was just taking the orders of his spiritual master that he wanted to please. And ultimately, what we are all trying to do is please Lord Krishna. and we are equipoised. No, we don't really categorize anyone. Oh, he's good, he's bad, or he's got this bad habit, or he's got that bad habit. No, we all have habits, some sort of habits we have, whether good or bad, but we're all trying to overcome these habits. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to the West, what were they? They were all like smoking, drinking, drugs, everything, all that sort of stuff. He tolerated all that. Why? Because he wanted to make them better people, better human beings. He wanted to lift them up from where they were to the position where they were, so fallen and low, and brought them to a higher platform of devotional service. He said, you can rise above all this. All you got to do is follow the 4 regulative principles that he said. Like, I just want you to do these 4 things, and you become a better person. No smoking, no drinking, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. He goes, do these 4 things, and you'll become a better person. And that's what happened when he went back from the US to India. And people were amazed, like saying, how can you change all these people? This is like a miracle in itself. Like, you've converted all these people, you change them, become vegetarians, they're chanting Krishna's name, they're reading the holy scriptures, So there's no differentiation, and we don't label them. The pure devotee will go out of his way to serve anyone, whatever the situation, whatever the consequences. Like even during COVID, we had regular devotees going out, preaching to people. Now, a lot of it was done on Zoom, but we actually made food preparations and took it out to them. We had outreach programs where we still had that association, irrespective of who they were, where they were, what they were doing, their condition. And it's all for the pleasure of Krishna and for, ideally in one way, that how can we, see, we have to lead by example. Srila Prabhupada led by example. That he was tolerant to everyone. He was kind and merciful to everyone. Then our spiritual masters are very similar. They're kind and merciful. And we want to follow in the same footsteps. So when outside people see us, they say, oh, these are devotees. All right, they're like this. Oh, you know what? They don't differentiate between anyone. What's their philosophy? We tell them a philosophy and say, oh, wow, it's a good philosophy. Like, okay, no, never thought of it that way. Like, you differentiate between men, women, and like Indians, English, or West Indians, anyone. It's open to all. Like, you get Chinese people, everyone's involved, everyone's welcome. And so we have a whole variety of people. And then even my spiritual master, amidst all this that was going on during COVID, he thought, you know what? I'm a spiritual master. Let me take a leap forward. My devotees are out there. It's like a battlefield we've got with COVID. He goes, so let me go out there to go and lead my devotees, help them in preaching mission. They are trying as hard as they can, but what's the point of me sitting down inside? I should be leading by example. So he went to America, but unfortunately he got COVID and he passed away. He left this material world. But no, he was leading by example. And then the devotees will come to a point where they don't have any kind of hankering when they're doing this devotional service. They don't have any hankering or any kind of lament for them. They don't have a sense of, they're sort of detached, but there's no, because that devotional service, they're thinking, even after what's happened, I want to carry on with my devotional service. And that devotional service is what keeps them attached. You can have a person in the renounced order of life, he can wear nice, clean clothes, fresh clothes, but what's the point of being in the renounced order of life if you're not following the rules and regulations, the scriptures? Because when you're in that role of a renounced person, when you're doing devotional service, you are putting your 101% faith in your service. So that renounced role means you have you moved away from everything that's material. You're literally depending on the Lord for His mercy, and the Lord when you're fully dependent on the Lord's mercy, He will look after you. You can't turn around and say, oh yeah, you can get a person wearing so nice devotional clothes, he renounced all of that. Yeah, he goes, oh yeah, oh, that's my bank account, I need to transfer that much money into there, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, he's not involved in any of that sort of stuff. They're not involved in the worldly affairs on that. So they are just interested in all these mundane things, because these mundane things really don't matter to them. When you come into devotional service, when you become a devotee, when you're going into devotional service, sometimes all these small things, you sort of get detached from them because you have to develop a higher taste. Quite often you see, I know we have put restrictions, obviously, like when you come to a temple, we prepare everything, all the preparations are made without onion and garlic, and we say they're in the modes of passion and ignorance, and why should we have them? But quite often you see people in the outside world, when you stop having these things, you mentally feel a change in yourself. Mentally you can focus much better. Whereas you see people in the outside world, when they're taking all these things, they're still very agitated for some reason. They're sort of very quick, like if you just say something, like they react straight away without thinking. They're constantly on a high, like, it's something that they can't get over. Because they're always in the mode of either passion or ignorance, because they're intertwined, but those are predominant for them. Where you see as a devotee, he's always in the mode of goodness. Even if somebody says something to him, he'll take it with a pinch of salt. He says, you know what? That person, like, is saying it for my own betterment. How can I improve? So we never take it in the wrong sense. We say, okay, that's my fault. Okay, now how can I improve and become better at what I'm doing? This is what we are. You see the devotees, what are they mostly interested in? Any kind of devotional service that we can do. You see them going out to do book distribution, Harinam. If anyone, have you ever been to Harinam at all or not? In London or other places? You get that sense of a bliss. You have that, you're on a sort of high, you think, wow, you can't actually describe it. It's like immense feeling that comes from within. It's like, you haven't a care in the world. You think, I'm doing my thing. I'm here to please Krishna, and I'm doing my thing, and I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to give pleasure to other people. I remember when we went to Spain with the Guru Maharaj quite a few years back, and Malaga, we were doing like Harinam out on the streets, I think about 9 o'clock in the evening. And like, people were sitting there in the bars drinking away to glory, and we were doing Harinam, and they just get up and join in. And like, you're thinking, they're all chanting the Lord's name, and we're getting bliss out of it, because what are you doing? You're getting them to chant, and you say, put your hands in the air. They all put their hands in the air. We say, Hari Bol, say Hari Bol, say Hare Krishna. And they all said, Hare Krishna with us. And they chanted the Maha Mantra, and we were getting so much bliss out of it. And they were as well. I think, Mata, you can remember as well. And that, there's so much bliss that everyone is getting from that. So this is what happens when a devotee takes to devotional service. His mindset is totally different. Why do we do this? We say because all the results, we just do our work, we do our service. Because what do we say? We say, Krishna, we're just doing our service. We leave the results on to you. We're not worried about the results. Were we worried when we were doing Harinam out in the streets in Malaga? What will the drunk person say? We know. We're not worried about what he'll say. We say, let's just do Harinam. Let's see what happens, Everything, we just do our karma and leave everything to Krishna. And that's what we say. When you're at home, when you're a devotee, at home, doing things from home, when you're working outside, do your work, do whatever you have to do. Don't worry about the results. Krishna will take care of that. Because as long as you're doing in your daily life, as long as you're working outside and doing devotional service, leave the results to Krishna. He will take care and look after you. The devotees, when you see any of the devotees, they're not worried about name, fame, whatever they're doing. Whatever they're doing is for Krishna's pleasure. No, they're not looking for praise. So you see so many people out there want to be in the limelight, say, oh, I've done this and I've done this. You see a lot of devotees here at the temple, outside. They're always in the background. Some devotees you never see. They're either cooking, cleaning, maintaining the gardens, such beautiful gardens. They maintain the gardens. You see all the people who do repair works. You see some people just in the office maintaining. Some of the people who maintain relationship with others outside in the world. So you see all these sort of people that go on in the background. They don't want to come to the light. They think, you know what, we'll just carry on with our work that we're doing. So those sort of people that Krishna says, Bhakti Mam, not Krishna, he's saying, Bhakti Mam Ya Same Priya. Those are the sort of people who are very dear to me because they just quietly get on with the work. And because they're just doing it and they're offering everything to Krishna, and that's how they see themselves. Now, sometimes I'll give you an example, like the way devotees are different. That's how some people sometimes think of themselves. Like when, I'm sure quite a lot of you have heard that. When Krishna had a headache, had an intense headache, and he goes, Narji says, so you've got a headache, how can we cure that? And then Krishna says, I want the dust off the feet of my devotees, and that will cure my headache. I want that rubbed on my head. And when Narji said, okay, I'll go find out. And a lot of people refused. They said, well, how can we take the dust off the lotus feet of my devotees, and put that on the Lord? That's unheard of. You can't do that. You'll get a lot of, it's just not possible, you get really bad karma for that, you're rubbing on the Lord's forehead. And yet, when the gopis got to find out about this, and what did the gopis do? They say, yeah, you don't worry, you know what? Yeah, take as much dust off the feet of our, and rub it on the Lord's forehead. If the Lord gets better, that's all we're interested. And Narji went and said, well, you know what? You might end up in hell with that. And they said, no problem. As long as it cures Krishna, that's all that matters. For a devotee, whether it's heaven or hell, their job is just to please Krishna. And this is what it is. Samepriya, to me, he's very dear. That devotee, whoever's thinking, you know what, Krishna, do whatever you like. We just want to here to please you. The devotee is free from all kinds of motivation. He's not really worried about anything. All he wants to do is serve. So in a short summary of what we've done today, I'll summary it off. So when we get any kind of money or anything, use it in the Lord's service, whatever you can. Donate it, because a lot of times we have a lot of donations. We give it to books. There's a Food for Life program. There's a lot of hospice work that we do. There's the prasadam that we serve. On the altar, you see the way the deities are so beautifully dressed, eloquently, so nicely. All sort of service helps in maintaining the costs. You think, how much does it cost you? Your electricity bill at home, when you're heating at home, how much does that cost? And that's just a small 3-bedroom house. When you think the manor is huge and what the costs are. So every little, whatever we can, helps on that. Cleanliness is another aspect. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So we said, we have a bath every day. You wash the outside of your body, but also we need to cleanse your mind. And how do you clean your mind? Is by constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord. That will drive away all the impurities from your heart. Have faith in the scriptures. Srila Prabhupada had faith in the scriptures. So if he can go to America with just one book and the holy name, and look how much he's accomplished, why can't we have the same faith in these scriptures and in Srila Prabhupada? That miracles can happen, because someone did ask, so Prabhupada, so what miracle have you done? He goes, well, I've transferred these people from hippies to happies, and I established all these temples. Don't you think that's a miracle in itself? Which obviously it is. He's created so many temples. We should know that as long as we have our body with us, it's always going to be, there's so many ways we can inflict pain to it, but if we allow ourselves to come and do service for the Lord, whether it's cooking, cleaning, just meeting people in whatever way we can, whatever little service we can, that's very useful. because we're always looking for people to help at the temple. We do things which are very conducive for devotional service, so we always look at ways how we can improve our service, how we can get others engaged in devotional service. Because at the end of the day, it's like a bank balance that we have. Your devotional service is a bank balance that Krishna keeps in his book. You say, okay, that's how much he's done today. So you don't want to go in a negative balance. You don't want to go overdrawn. You want to always stay in credit. So more credits we can build up by doing devotional services, the better it is for us. Whatever you can do, give to the Lord. And if you have at home, if you want to make a nice house, please do make a nice house. But don't forget the most important person of that house. If you can, make a room for Krishna. Make a place for... It doesn't want a big space. I know we say a nice, clean room should be available for Krishna. Please, if you have the opportunity, make a room for Krishna. Get a little space in the house where you can worship him. Then he'll look after your house. Because it's Bhagwan is coming to your house, you know. When you break up the Bhag and one means a forest, otherwise your house is just going to be like a forest. Things scattered. Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, comes to your house. He'll take care of everything. Automatically everything falls into place. Engage in all kinds of devotional service. Remain happy. Don't be miserable. Just serve the Lord. And for a devotee, he leaves everything to the Lord. All the materialist objects are insignificant to him. Because what does Krishna devotees say for the Lord? They are, it's the Shikshaktam prayers, verse number 8, are the desires of devotee. That's all the devotee ever thinks of. He says, I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful, wonderful Lord unconditionally. So that's the topic where we come to on devotional service. I'll end it there because Aarti will start at 7 o'clock. We have 5 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions or anything, like comments or corrections or anything else they would like to say?
I was just going to do just clarification. I'm sure you meant, like you said, we've inflicted the pain, the body is to inflict pain. But our mission is like by associating with Krishna now, you actually take away that suffering, that misery, because then you are constantly associating with something happy, something peaceful, which is what you have as soul. So you do not feel that pain, that disease. Everybody has to go through it, but you don't actually inflict pain on yourself. But you actually take it away by drowning yourself in Krishna. Is that what you meant? I just wanted to
Because the body is meant, there's so many ways the body is going to be suffering, but on a subtle level, we're trying to move away on a subtle level, like these miseries will come, these ailments will come, but when we take Krishna's name, Krishna seems to, when you start taking into devotional service, Krishna will mitigate these. Generally, it's like someone, if he's walking down the street, he might trip over, on the footpath. He might just hurt his knee or something. He'll make it in such a way that it's mitigated. Yet, how do you mean if he didn't fall down at that time on that footpath, he might have just walked across to the end of the road and he might get hit by a car. So in that way, we say he mitigates a lot of the pains that we're going to suffer. So he minimizes them for us.
big gets diminished.
Diminished. It becomes Krishna's mercy becomes very small. Because
Secondly, clarification about His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He knew what was the risks, but we just read the qualities of devotees. He did not care about himself. He only cared about Srila Prabhupada's mission,
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. He wanted to preach. He wanted to join in. So that was his thinking when he left the planet, because he did not care about himself. He just thought this is Lord's plan, whichever way he goes, whether he's kept, like exactly what Shish touched on.
yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I mean this is the mood of a lot of the devotees, a lot of the spiritual masters, a lot of devotees, that things will happen. Everything happens for a reason. We don't know the reasons. Like I quite often, from my own understanding, my own personal realizations, it's like we always plan our, how to say it? We plan our tomorrow according to what we're doing today. But Krishna is different. He plans our tomorrow. He plans our today according to our tomorrow. So he'll know, this is what I want him to be in the future, so I'll plan it in such a way that all these things will come, and that will be his, that's how it works. So we don't know his plan. We can make our own plans, but Krishna has his own plan for us. We can pretend that I'm going to do X, Y, Z tomorrow, and before you know it, things will change. You won't be able to do that. Like a lot of people, like in Ukraine, did they ever think they'll come to a point where there'll be so much fighting? No. But Krishna has his own plan. He knows what's going to happen. We can't predict that, but obviously things happen for a reason. Okay, I think Aarti is going to take place any minute. The curtains will open. So I think... Srila Prabhupada. श्री राधा कुकुलन भगवान जी की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की, गोविंदाय की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की। जीव जयो जयो गौरा चंदे, आरती को शोभा। Chatradhara Advikate Advaita Srila Vasa Chatradhara Vasi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simastane Vasi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simastane Arati Kore Nam Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Kore Nam Brahma Adi Devagane Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada Bhagati Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Radha Gokula Nanda Shri Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Govanitai 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 Jaya Govanitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रव्राजकाचार्य नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रव्राजकाचार्य नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की साक्षात वैराग गौर किशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की श्रीला सच्चिदानंद भक्तिवेदांत ठाकुर की वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अमल पुराण श्रीमद् भागवतम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की अयोध्या धाम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled bridge Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bridge Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bridge Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Guru Agro Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You sing Nashing prayer? Sing Nashing prayer. Sing it. That help. Now, you sing it. You need it.
Namaste Narasimhaya
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladadadaine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatamkanakalaye Ito nashimha parato nashimha Yato yato yamitato nashimha Bahe nashimho hridaye nashimho Nashim namadim sharanam prapade Tabakara kamalavare nakam adbhuta shinga Dalita hiranyakashipu Ganobringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa
Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitya Gokumanande. Hare Krishna everyone, so there's some Mahaprasadam that's being served in the reception. Thank you all so much. The next arti will be at 9 p.m. Hare Krishna.